to take down Karthus, and a lot of their champions don't want to build magic resistance.
No.
So this will be Tarzan. I mean, Karthus is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. They have a lot of kill lanes, but
speaking of, Root does get the dash. It's a decent double play. Aftershock is in, but it's not enough. First blood goes down. Out where Seas is. Lands some lay waste, but he will take a heck of a lot of damage. That's going to be a decent dark passage to get the shield. As Lahens is going down extraordinarily low. The lay waste picks it up, and Karthus.
This isn't why he's as strong of a jungler as he can be, as Tana goes wide.
Yeah, Sword is going to be able to boot that one back, and the Ignite
kill.
Is down. Tana going to get Bellows breath to death.
By an Akali.
Speaking of getting bullied, Tarzan looking for the knockup, does find an acceleration. K willing to be able to actually get enough movement speed. The answer is a big ol' no as Sword gets his second.
They're gonna pick it up right now, but in doing so, they continue to stun Seas on this Karthus.
Double teleports coming in. That's a great hook there from Kellen, who will have the Dark Passage to bring over Seas. Viper has to flash to get out of the way, but the turret has done so much work. There it is. The first kill does go down onto the Thresh as Kellen just a little bit too far, as now Seas finds himself in the middle of nowhere. They're waiting
they're not
to kill him.
Yeah.
They're just going to let the back
Seas,
come
can
through.
you run into the turret?
No. That's so sad.
That he can enter passive, and then from there, you can locate the R-key.
Yeah. Look, I mean, speaking of locating the R-key, Grace is going to succeed. Gets the flash off, perfect execution.
And it's almost comical in a way that he's just spamming taunt, not realizing that it would just be better just off the Ninja Tabby and the Glacial Shroud. He's winning inside of the matchup, and Tana elected for you.
Already have, in fact, as the first one is in there. The better Abyssal Mask is going to come through as Chovy goes into the Shroud, looking to try and get a kill here. Onto Seas potentially, but he's slowed down. Perfect execution, and then the culling, and that's the Requiem. Chovy's going to survive.
Valdez and I had to deal with quite a few Ocean and Cloud Drakes, but
it was certainly an overcast day yesterday.
Yeah.
It was cloudy. There was a lot of water going on.
Right.
Not great. In fact, it hailed. It was yeah, it was hailing in Gangnam today. Just insane. It's supposed to be spring on the side of Griffin. Not exactly the most barren damage, even though they can tank it so well. And speaking of which, there's Sword. They just get rid of the Lissandra. Doesn't even have time to self-ult by the looks of things. I have a feeling that CC bar did go down, but just not spamming that button hard enough. The outer turret falls down. Griffin might even take more.
Griffin. Relatively quickly.
Pretty comfortably. Feels like another day in the office here for Griffin. I don't know who he's playing against in mid lane. He will just be that good. That's a decent playback there onto Viper. Very early Requiem as they do get rid of Viper. The inner turret is still doing so much work like you mentioned. And Chovy now taking a lot of damage. The Ornhorn doesn't seem to be doing enough here as Root very far forward, but Chovy gets himself to safety. And now Jinner have the opportunity of just chasing this one through. Sword is going to use the stopwatch, and that just means he's going to die. The sacrifice is in for the tank as now Chovy leads in both of their games that they lost. Against Chovy. Oh, that's too many lay wastes. Yeah, and Chovy got just angry at the Karthus.
Yeah. He said, can you please stop queuing me?
As far as getting that teleport closer, but wanted to be a little bit further away for some reason is Griffin. Baron down to about 4,000 health now as Kellen does land the hook. They're inside this pit. Great knock up there onto Jace as Tana has found himself just outside this pit. Kellen will be going down next. Sword gets called right into the back as Tana's still fighting this one out. It is going to be Viper falling. Requiem does do some decent damage, but Seas is nowhere to be seen. He's back in the pit as now Root's just fighting Tarzan. And he doesn't...
Poor Griffin. Just wait for it.
Yep. 3, 2, 1. And it's a mountain.
Oh,
that's still relatively bad. There, Seas going to get knocked up. Speaking of relatively bad, that's a bad situation.
Yeah, that's a
for the jungler
situation to be in, actually.
Chovy does find his exhaust. In there. Now it's just a sweeper away from being irrelevant.
See, the ping goes down onto it too. He's like,
Jinner, if they could make their way to any objective to kill, those mountain drakes would be great. But what do we say about mountains? They're pretty irrelevant if you really...
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to see whether the Nexus is going to survive for very much longer.
Two-shot barrage ends up whiffing.
Does hit the minion wave though. I think that's what Viper was aiming for. Turret, the inner on the top side. That ward paying off as Griffin, they know about it. Grace is unable to get there. They don't back away through the lane. they back away through the jungle because it's not Jin Air's jungle anymore. It's theirs. Viper doesn't find that Q, but they do find the kills on these turrets. Almost all of them going down at the same time as the Ornhorn does get one knock-up, but it's not used for that. It's used just to get Jin Air away from these structures, away from these objectives, and give Griffin a way in to just demolish this base. Ooh. That's a great triple knock-up there, though, as Seas goes down very low, tries to get himself into Devile position, and does so relatively well. But look at this Requiem. It's just not doing enough damage, and Griffin, the Karthus dies in the right spot, but he just doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, he does absolutely no damage to this Griffin team composition here. As Ezreal recalls, teleports back in. They're going to go for the end of the game here.
Yeah, minion waves getting followed through. Super minions are now cruising down the mid lane and the top lane as Root's going to get taken down very, very low. Hex Drinker in hand does keep him alive. As Tarzan gets booed back, he does, of course, have himself the GA. He will revive as the culling lands onto Chovy. Lahan's good guy. He's going to pick that one up with the Circle of Frost. Frost catches the Akali. Doesn't quite have the Twilight Shroud, but doesn't actually need it. Just walks away as Griffin just kiting this Jin Air roster around. Even though Root's doing so much damage, it's just not quite enough. True Shot Barrage flies on forward. Once again, misses absolutely everyone. But Griffin, they've done enough. They've just got so much gold, so much control, and Jin Air have basically nothing. Yeah, that teleport should seal the deal. Next turret 1 goes down. Number 2 going to follow. Sees once again. Dies in a decent spot, but does absolutely no damage. As Viper hanging around this team fight is now just looking for the Nexus. As Lahan's very low. Tarzan also very low. Shock Blast does basically no damage. As Lahan's has the Unbreakable Will. Nexus next to fall down, and Griffin, they don't fall to Jin Air. We don't have the equilibrium restored just yet.
Atlas, their game 1 is answered and neutralized. And now, with Lissandra being locked in, this is probably just going to be Spellbook Zoe. Trying to crash the cannon wave right here. And this could end up being a pretty bad time.
That's a big taunt, a double knock-up, bouncy castle for the cow.
RNG, a second one. That would be absolutely stellar for their ability.
Well, and does find the Void Seeker onto the back of the retreating Jin Air bottom lane. Seas gets the knock-up. Flash does come in there from Chovy. Seas gets on over.
Rises here.
Tana, can you get in there? Flashes immediately to try and get on top of Chovy, but no joy there whatsoever. He got himself an artificial flash and got himself the hell out of there. Sword tries to steal away that blue buff, but he may have actually bitten off more than he can chew as Grace is in trouble. Flashes come out from everywhere as somehow Griffin are the ones picking up all of these kills. Chovy does die as Sword's looking for it. Doesn't quite find it. There is Tana, very low on mana. Sees in trouble as well, and now Tana, you're dead. I don't know why they dived for it again, but the chase gets item number 1, which is going to be a big spike for him. Tarzan wanting to make his way down as once again they're fighting the cow, but Unbreakable Will is in there and it's eating up a lot of this damage. Doesn't seem to matter though, he's just getting CC'd and destroyed. Decides to move the other way just to make just spawn. He should be able to collect it pretty comfortably. Kellen and Root hanging around, Seas waiting in the wings, looking to try and get themselves a fight. Justice Punch coming forward as Lahan's moving very quickly with those Moby Boots. The flash to get out of the way there of the headbutt pulverized from Kellen, and now he's a little bit too far forward. Trouble Bubble lands. That's a big taunt, but it's only onto 1 as Chovy does follow his paddle star through multiple flashes. I mentioned that this is something that Jin Air could have done, but it's something that Griffin have decided to already do. 3,000 health, there is no C's available. He's between turrets on Griffin's side of the map. As Grace is trying to be a hero, but Viper just kills him. The Baron's going to go down as well, and at 20 minutes and 30 seconds, Griffin now have the Baron. Seas finally turns up, he decides just to throw himself headlong into the Griffin squad, and now they're just trying to get whichever kills they can. Tarzan's going to burrow away. It is going to be the sacrificial lamb being the guy.
The Baron, instead of just turning their attention to the Infernal.
Yep, sometimes you got to cut your losses.
Positions.
Yeah.
He's waiting.
Secret Agent. I remember that one auspicious game. No, I was thinking of that did a lot of damage, but Seas looking to try and take down Lahan's Justice Punch. Doesn't get him to safety necessarily as Jin Air going for the wraparound play. Seas still very, very low. Viper's taking down a turret. Sword's also on inhibitor turret. Seas gonna go back in. That's just insane. Yeah, the Void Rush He's going to come through as well, and Root is going to be the one that suffers
Sword's
at the hands
ending the
of
game,
it.
though.
Yeah, he's doing what he can. He's going to be able to take down at least an inhibitor. The Gargoyle is going to bite the dust once again, but look at where Chovy is on this map. He's on the other side. Has the opportunity to get that flash. Does dive on over. Flashes back in there as well. And yep, that's going to be the red buff that secures it that Tana had picked up from one of these kills. Inhibitor's already gone down, though. The damage is being done here as Griffin. They were just happy to keep Jin busy.
Oh, man. Realm Warp actually coming in. I don't think that Sword's going to be able to make it out.
Yeah, that was an optimistic, empowered recall there as Tana. Aftershock is going to wear off. That was the time where a fight could have ensued. But there was moving towards the top side of the map, creating all of that pressure. Rapid fire cannon is done here for Viper.
Spookiest Jarvan I've ever seen.
Yep. Well, he's going to walk over a ward now, and Griffin know that they've been routed. There's the Cataclysm. The Flag and Drag comes in. Tarzan's taken down. The jungler is now dead. Secret Agent sees, he strikes, and he gets a goal.
And this is a really weird predicament, but with the advantage that Griffin has, the 4 members, as long as they maintain a phalanx, I mean, they should be more than capable of actually pushing on.
Yeah, the problem is
4v5.
Any Shock Blast or any Paddle Star that lands is going to do so much damage, as you saw right there. So Jin still have to pay so much respect. 4v5 or no, it doesn't matter.
Definitely looking a little bit shaky.
But looking at how they comp team fights, it's not necessarily that surprising, as Hero's entrance going to be interrupted very easily. And Lahen's, not a lot of options there, but now look at this. Great knock up there onto C's, takes a lot of damage, does make his way out. Grace now trying to do the same thing. The tower's going to get in there as well as Root. A lot of damage there with the culling as Griffin trying to skip around this fight. Tana gets flashed on, goes into stasis, but he will die. It's not going to be the Void Rush. That was avoided, but you can't avoid. Be a good idea, and Viper's going to listen to me. Maybe to his detriment.
Caesar's asleep.
Yeah, Trouble Bubble is going to land. Paddlestar is not, however, and Tarzan's now trying to fight him out of this one. Spent so much time scrimming a lot of Worlds contentious teams. We had a lot of information about the fact that they were doing very, very well. The 5-man unit is certainly relevant, as here he is once again. Cataclysm immediately jumps on forward, doesn't get the knock-up though. Redemption going to come in. Hero's entrance comes down to keep Chovy alive. Secret Agent, he botched that one almost completely. Tarzan coming down here. Lahen's still looking
Sword going for a front door.
Yep, he's going to be taking down Nexus turrets. There's the Realm Warp. Tana is able to get himself over. Base gate is going to be taken, but look at this. Nexus turrets are dead, and Sword's just going to try and get his way around this one. He wants back-to-back MVPs. Can he actually get the autos in here is the question. Looks like 4 members of Jin will be enough, but only just. As now Tarzan wants to try and find it. Everyone has to collapse as Viper. He finds someone CC'd, and he takes down the Nexus.
You know, I'm so glad that we just get to see that yesterday. I was talking with Valdez about a front door.
Yep.
He didn't know what it looked like, and that's what it looked like. That's what it looks like.
Yep. This is, yeah, that's inviting the vampires into your house. It's just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Because they can't get in otherwise, but front door was already unlocked. They're already in there. And Sword wanders on forward, does most of the damage, eventually falls down. Then you've got a button that gets you towards where the enemies are, and they're right next to a Nexus that requires 1 auto attack from Viper.
And
He
so
was a bit of
now,
a passenger this game, to be
does
perfectly
Sword
honest.
win the MVP again?
I think so. I think it has to be back-to-back Sword MVPs.
Double MVP Sword.
Yep. I feel like maybe what I said came to fruition in the end. Shortly, I mean, right now, so let's throw it to G-Sum for some translation.
MVP 소드 선수, 초비 선수 모실게요. 안녕하세요.
Sword and Chovy from Griffin picking up 2-0 victory up
네,
against
일찌감치
GRF
결승
Greenwings.
진출을 확정을 짓고 오늘 마지막
So
경기였는데
this was the last game after you guys locked into the finals. How did you prepare for today's series?
그냥 나만 잘하자라고만 생각하고
I just thought that
네.
I'll just do my best. It's me that matters.
보여주고 싶었는데
I just wanted to show my fans doing so well
네, 오늘
earlier,
좋은 모습
but
보여주셨습니다.
it's a bit of a relief that I was able to pull that off today finally.
아마 관심 있게 지켜본
Chovy,
지표이지 않을까
you
해요.
broke the tie of MVP points. How do you feel about that?
일단 저보다는 저희 팀원들이 더
I mean,
신경 쓴 것 같고
about the MVP, I wasn't really paying attention. It was my teammates who got excited about it.
신경 안 썼긴
I
한것
wasn't
같긴 해요.
like
네,
paying
지난
attention at all.
중간에서 리엔즈 선수가 초비 선수 꼭 1등했으면 좋겠다고 하는
Lian
장면도
did say that he
있었고요.
really wanted to
오늘
be the
경기력
number 1.
만족하시나요?
And are you satisfied with your play today?
살짝 정신없어서 잘 모르겠어요.
I mean, there were too many
네,
things
알겠습니다.
happening today,
자,
so I don't
계속해서
know.
얘기 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 소수 선수 1세트에
Sword,
오른을 들고 나오셨어요.
you played Ornn.
제이스 상대로 아주 준비했던 픽이라고 생각이
Was that a
드는데
counter pick?
킹존전에
For Jace?
호되게 당해가지고
Yeah, I got
나도
stumped
저렇게
by
할 수 있겠다라고
Ornn in the previous Kingdom series,
네,
so I prepared for it for today.
확실히 선수가 탱챔을 잡을 때 느낌이 확연히 다르다라는 얘기를
When,
들었는데
you know,
이 점은 어떻게
you show a
생각하세요?
very different playstyle whenever you're playing tank champions.
그런 플레이가 자주 나오지 않나.
Well, it is true that I feel
네,
comfortable
팀원들은
whenever I'm
혹시
playing
선수가
tank
어떤
champions.
픽을 할 때 더 좋아하시나요?
Then what does the Griffin player prefer?
못 믿는 그런 경향이 있지만 제일
Well, either one, they don't really trust me, but
다 믿어주는 것 같아요.
I mean they do. I mean they do
약간
trust me,
못
but
믿어할 때도 있긴
sometimes
있나
they're
봐요.
like, I don't trust you.
있긴 있나가 아니라 좀 많이 그런 것 같습니다.
A lot of times.
알겠습니다. 초비 선수 맞나요?
Chobi, is that true?
믿어요.
네.
I trust him.
믿는다고 해주셨습니다. 오늘 제이스 솔로키라는 장면도 나왔습니다.
And there was a solo kick during laning phase.
설명 부탁드려도 될까요?
So what was going
기억이
on?
안 나요. 어떻게 땄는지.
이
I don't really
장면입니다.
remember how I made that kill.
네, 이때 정말 각 날카롭게 보셨는데 각 어떻게 보셨는지.
How did you see that angle coming?
이게 약간 점화 타이밍에 오르는
Well, I had
그
ignite.
스킬각이 나요.
Well, so Ornn is a really good whenever have your ignite on, so that was a really nice timing.
라인전도 잘 가져가는 모습 보여주셨는데요. 제이스랑 라인전하기 힘들지
Then,
않으셨나요?
what are your thoughts about the Jace matchup? Well, it is a bit rough for Ornn in the early game, but it is really good in the late game, so I think Ornn is better.
그런데 2세트에서는 제이스를 다시 들고 나오셨어요.
But game 2, you played Jace?
그래도 제이스
So why was that?
평소에 감독님이 두 개 다 포기하기 싫고 저도 포기하기 싫어서
Well,
둘 다 밸런스 있게
we just didn't want to give up
그래서
both, so
언제든지 그렇게
you just want me to play something that I'm confident with,
잘하시는 것
and
같아요.
also something that I'm comfortable with, which is sword and shield. So we just wanted to show everything I got today.
생각을 합니다. 칭찬도 또 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 초비 선수는
Moving on to
2세트에
Chobi.
들고 나오셨는데요. 오늘
You played
1세트가
Zoe in game
리산 상대로
2, and you were
하셨어요.
playing up against
1세트
Lissandra
아칼리가
for
아주
both games.
인상적이었고요. 리산
Akali was
상대하기
also
원래
impressive in game
편안해하시는
1,
걸
so
알고 있는데 오늘은 어떠셨나요?
how was your game up against Lissandra?
일단 픽창에서
So whenever I see Lissandra's face on the Champ Select, I felt so comfortable. So I had a very comfortable game.
뭐 1세트에도 그랬지만 2세트에도 초비 선수 죽이기 너무 힘들다.
Chobi,
어쩜 저렇게 안
it
죽냐,
was super
이런
hard to
생각도
take you
들었는데
down. You
그렇게
never die.
아슬아슬한 상황에서 어떻게
How you always
대응하셨나요?
managed to survive in those kind of situations.
Well,
Well, I was expecting a bit easier game to survive, but I always end up surviving in one health. But I think it's my instincts and my sense.
미드에서도 아주 멋진 장면이 있었죠. 리산이 텔 타고 오자마자 재워버리는 장면이 있었는데요. 이때 상황이 어땠나요?
This is a highlight we prepared. You just made Lissandra sleep right after she TP'd. So what was going on?
일단 살아보겠다고 한 것 같아요.
Well, as soon as I saw J4, I just did my best to survive.
그래도 살 것 같다라는 생각이 있으세요? 아니면 뭐
Do you have the
죽을지도
feeling like
모르겠다
that
이런
I'm
생각이 더
gonna
강하세요?
like walk out alive, or do you feel like sometimes like I might die?
저 공으로 가두고 평타 계속되니까 죽을 것 같아요.
Well, at first I thought that I would survive, but when J4 landed his ultimate and kept just autoing me, I thought like I might die here, but I just used all my skills available. I was just pressing all the keys and I was lucky to survive.
정말 게임 재밌게 하시는군요. 네.
Again,
초비 선수 특히
Chobi
상대
is
갱킹
enjoying
정말 잘
playing League a lot,
피하시는데요.
and
갱킹 타이밍 같은 것도 미리미리
So,
라인전 하실 때좀
do you have in mind that the timing when the jungler will play a visit for a gank? I don't really calculate things,
대회
but
말고 다른 연습
well, I mean besides competitive games,
갱을 일단
during
많이
the
당해서
streams,
많이 주고받기
I get ganked a
때문에
lot. I die a lot, so
지금 오면 죽겠다
I had the
하고
feeling
살
like
때 있고,
this
이제
is
지금 오면
a like
산다
very
하고
dangerous
앞에서
timing if
상대한테
jungler
스트레스 줄
comes for a
때가
gank. So then I go
타이밍이 있는 것 같아요.
defensively, and
네, 정말
this is the
오늘도
timing that I can go like
멋진 모습
aggressively. Then I just
보여주셨습니다.
play
소드
more
선수는
offensively.
이렇게 초비 선수 정말 아슬아슬하게 살아가고 이런 장면 보시면 오늘 소드 선수도 타단 선수와 함께
The
그런
sword,
장면 만들어내기도
you also
했고요.
survived a
어떠세요?
lot in a very low
팀원들끼리
HP
그런 것도
today,
미리미리
so
대비를 좀
do
연습을
you
많이
guys like
하시나요?
practice on
그런
such things?
모습이 자주 나오기도 하니까
Well,
이렇게
that kind of
자연스럽게 연습이
play
되지 않았나
will do show up a lot in
알겠습니다.
our
역시
games. So I think we just
연습에서
naturally
모든
get
건
used to it
이루어진다고
during the
생각합니다.
practice.
자, 이제 결승전에서 상대 팀들 기다려야 합니다.
So you're gonna be up
어떤 팀
against
올라오실 거라고
in the
예상하시나요?
finals, waiting for the
지금
teams
다
to
잘하는
come up.
팀들이라 솔직히 누가 올라올지는
Well, I mean, all teams look
누가
super
올라오든
strong,
이제
so I
대비를 잘
don't
하셔야
know
할
who's gonna
텐데
make it to the
각오 한 말씀
finals.
들어볼게요.
어느 팀이
And,
나오든 저희
I mean,
팀대로 색깔 그대로 잘 지키면서
It's not the matter of the teams that we're gonna be fighting up against. It's us maintaining our own play style. We're gonna just prepare as hard as we can. What about you, Chobi?
상대가 누군지 신경 쓰기보다
Well, same. I mean,
우리 경기력에
I don't want to pay attention who we're going to be facing up against. We're just going to fully focus on our own performance.
마지막으로 이제 정규 스플릿
So
마지막
lastly,
경기다
this
보니까
was
팬분들께도
the very last
감사드려야
game of
할
the
것
regular
같아요.
split.
소드 선수부터
So any
들어볼까요?
message for the fans?
항상 응원해 주셔서 너무 감사하고
Thank you for the love and
앞으로 더
support,
좋은
always.
경기력으로 보답하도록
I'm
하겠습니다.
gonna
네,
show
여러분 소드 선수에게 큰
my great
박수
performance to my
부탁드리고요.
fans.
초비 선수도 들어볼까요?
Anchovy.
대사를 뺏기긴 했는데
Well, Sword just
저도
stole my
같은
line,
마음으로
but
항상
I mean, I have the same
지켜봐주셔서
thought in mind.
감사합니다.
Thank you every
네,
time for
초비
supporting us
선수에게도
throughout the whole
여러분
split.
박수
Thank you.
부탁드릴게요. 오늘 인터뷰 정말 감사하고요. 또 저희 이제 2주 뒤에
Thank you very much for this
뵙게
interview, and
되는데요.
we'll see you in
잘
2
하셔서
weeks.
멋진
So
모습
I hope you guys can
보여주시길
prepare
기대하겠습니다.
very hard
인터뷰
for the finals.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
This will be the interview with
네,
Sword
소드
and
선수,
Chobi
초비 선수
from Griffin, and I'm
만나봤습니다.
gonna pass it back to our
준비상
casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun. And look, sometimes decisions are made, sometimes they're questionable, but we don't get anyone here from the team that were deciding on the MVP. We don't actually get a vote anymore here as commentators. The Korean commentators don't either. And so they're not here to defend themselves and their decision as Jinne go down to an unprecedented -32.
Can you flip the 2 and 3 for Griffin?